and then also a Zhejiang visiting chair in Shanghai, NSC visiting chair professor, NTUST Taipei, Taiwan, honorary advisor, professor of several key universities in China, including Sichuan University, Xiamen University, East China Normal University, Shanghai, and Guangxi Normal University, Guilin. And then Professor Wang received his BSEE from National Chiao Tung University, MSEE from the National Taiwan University, MSICS from the Georgia Institute of Technology, PhD in computer science from the Oregon University, and published over 26 books, 160 technical papers, 3 USA or European patents. So he is also the founding editor-in-chief of International Journal of Patent Recognition and Artificial Intelligence, and the book series of the MPAI, etc. So very welcome our professor of today, Professor Patrick Wang. Would you like to start your presentation now? Thank you.
Thank you, Rita. Thank you. Yeah. First of all, good morning, everybody. At least as far as I'm concerned, it's good morning. And I'm very glad and very pleased and feel honored to be invited by this conference, sponsored by Suzhou University at Hong Kong, China. I have been in Hong Kong many times, by the way. For the past, I always thought Hong Kong people always speak Cantonese. But recently, I feel I'm wrong. Many people began to speak Mandarin. That's very good. For example, Rita speaks excellent Mandarin. Oh boy, that's a nice surprise. That's very good for the communication. By the way, the natural language is a the so-called natural language, NP, is a very important part of artificial intelligence for the purpose of communication. And people didn't realize that for a long time. People think natural language is a part of belonging to literature, arts, not science and technology, but it is a part of science and technology, as a matter of fact. It's a connection between the two. As a matter of fact, in my talk today, I'm going to spend a few minutes about specifically devoted to that part, the natural language processing and AI. And this page shows my brief introduction as said by Rita. Very quickly, the topic today is intelligent pattern recognition, image processing, and applications. Image processing is very closely related to the IPB, as we are going to talk more details. And here is a brief credential of mine. Here is a two email address you can communicate with you. I mostly use this IEEE. I'm very prestigious. IEEE is a world organization which is very prestigious, especially in AI. And this is my general Gmail address. So it is, first of all, what is artificial intelligence? There are thousands of definitions, but in general, we say anything using computers to solve problems that normally can be solved by human beings. You can see three keywords. First, computers. Secondly, solving problems. Thirdly, human beings. Those three are the key. If we talk about AI, you cannot be separated from these three at all. It's very tightly connected. It's also, in other words, it's machine emulation of human behavior. We call it natural beings, in contrast to artificial. Natural and artificial are two things which are in contrast to each other. They're supposed to be enemies, but as a matter of fact, AI connects them to be one thing. Sometimes you cannot distinguish them. For example, if you see a small airplane flying in the air, its man is strong. Is this by human being or by artificial machines? It's both. You cannot tell whether it is true. Or you say robot. You can design a robot which exactly resembles a human being. Sometimes you cannot even tell. Hey, are you a human being or a robot? I see maybe more or less you have such experience. In other words, machine learning is artificial. It's artificial, but it is the final destination. It's targeted at a natural being. We want to design a world full of robots, but its purpose is mainly to the service for the people. So sometimes you cannot tell whether it is a real human being or is it just artificial robotics. A very, very brief history. It is about 60 or 50 years old. I don't need to use 50 years. I have only 5 minutes to tell about a brief history of AI. That's very challenging, by the way. It's not easy. It takes me about 5 months or 5 years to prepare this. It began with a conference at the Dartmouth conference at New England, northeast part of America, USA. It's called Artificial Conference. It's the ever first time such terminology surfaces up in human history. There are basically some major professors, many Dr. Professor McCarthy, but most important of all, I believe, is Marvin Minsky at MIT, and then Rochester, and other people like Shannon. So remember, those four peoples are the most important part of AI. They are the person first used the terminology AI around 1955, long time ago. And for 2 months, there are more people beginning joining this AI to be carried out during the summer of 1956, 1 year later, at another conference at Dartmouth College in Hanover, New Hampshire. The main purpose of this study is to proceed on the basis of the conjecture that every aspect of learning or any other features of intelligence can in principle to be so precisely described that a human being can be made to simulate it. In other words, if you see a conference of simulation, it probably is also related to AI. If you see a conference of natural language, computers, mostly it will be touched with AI to some degree. Since I believe Marvin Minsky plays a very important role at AI history, so let me spend a few more seconds. Unfortunately, this gentleman passed away a few years ago. It's very, very unfortunate. I wish he's still alive. This gentleman is very smart, very creative. I talked to him. He's my personal friend also. If you are close to him, talk to him for 2 or 3 hours, you don't even feel that 2 hours passed. You will feel only 2 minutes. He's very very funny guy, by the way. He likes to talk jokes. He likes to even for the first time you meet him, it sounds like a long-time friend. He has a very good personality. In 1964, he is also the founder of this MIT CSAIL lab, meaning computer science and artificial intelligence. That's also the first time artificial intelligence is absorbed into computer science as one integrity. In the very past, in the very beginning, people don't think that's one thing. It's two separate things. Computer science is computer science. AI is AI. But from him, ever since 1964, about 60 years ago, 56 years ago, is the first time, remember, computer science and artificial intelligence were integrated into one item. And that is from Massachusetts Institute of Technology. And he has his first descendants, Professor Patrick Winston. His name happens to be his first name happens to be the same as mine. Unfortunately, he also passed away last year, 2 years ago. In 2018, Professor C.Y. Sun from Canada founded a first international conference on PR and AI. That's the first conference. And he was supposed to be a keynote speaker, Patrick Winston. About 1 week before that conference, he called us, "Sorry, I'm sick. I cannot come." I said, "What's wrong with you, Mr. Patrick?" He says, "I got a problem of kidney." I said, "Kidney problem is so easy to take care of. Everybody has 2 kidneys. Even if you can cut off one, the sick one, you can still be alive." Sounds like a very simple matter. But unfortunately, it's serious. So serious, after his call about 6 or 5 weeks later, his wife called, I'm sorry to tell you, Patrick passed away. So it's very, very, very unfortunate. In 2014, they celebrate the anniversaries. Yeah, 50 years. By then, they got the budget of $65 million. So it's a very big budget. So this is Mr. Oh, another thing. Mr. Minsky was a Turing Award laureate. Boy, Turing Award is equivalent to Mr. Nobel. When Mr. Nobel first created Nobel Prize many years ago, by then there wasn't computer science category. So how do we honor the best person in computer science then? Though in terms of Mr. Turing invented the Turing machine, the Turing thesis. He is the father of computer science, Mr. Turing. In order to honor him, people created a so-called Turing Award, which is equivalent to Nobel Prize, the level. So Mr. Minsky is one of the awardees. This is why now we invite him to Taipei, Taiwan. This is how many people recognize this place? How many people of you recognize this place? The Paris Museum. It is a simulation of imitation of Beijing. It looks like in Beijing, right? No, Mr. Chiang Kai-shek, this is Chiang Kai-shek statue. He moved the important things when he evacuated from mainland to Taiwan. He's very, very, very smart. He moved the most important culture kind of things from, at least part of them, from mainland China to Taipei. So that is the old palace, 故宫博物院, old palace. And Mr. and Mrs. Minsky are very, very pleased to visit the place. He says, oh, I'm in China now. Because look at, when you are in Taiwan, by the way, you are in China, culture-wise, language-wise, everything-wise, except political-wise, okay? And, aside of politics, everything in Taiwan is almost like in China. This is a side evidence. This is how many of you recognize this place? This is the White House of Taipei, the political center called the Presidential Governors. And this is in Charlton University, my alumni. This is a palace. This is a laboratory. This is a professor, one of the key professor students, talk to Professor Minsky. By the way, this exchange is very, very important. Hong Kong is doing very, very good. I think Hong Kong is one of the best places doing things like this. I'm not sure London. I hope London, Mr. Gentleman, a few minutes ago, I see your face. Now you disappeared. So, but the Charlton University is doing very good in this community. They attract the best, almost a majority, many best professors around the world visiting Charlton University. Mr. Minsky is one of them. This is one of his books. Look, his book, very famous book, does not even use any word of AI. I specifically asked him, why don't you use AI as your book? Well, I want to see AI is not just AI. AI touches everything. For example, society of mind. Oh boy, it's a different category in the university. It's a different department. People never think about society of mind has anything to do with AI, but actually it is very, very important, very close relation. Well, timeline-wise, the big picture is that this is academic and routine, and we can see that from 1950 all the way to 2020, from Dartmouth conference all the way to a lot of international conferences and centers and so forth. And this is this is the first computer, 1941. It's called IIDS computer. And this is a neural network. So gradually everything surfaces up, including AI. And this is a typical example of neural networks. Oh, this is the one I just mentioned, Mr. Turing. The guy from London, you must be familiar with him because Turing lived in Cambridge. And Turing has a very, very hard time during his life. I think he was forced to commit suicide. At his end of life, it is said. Do you know why every Apple company has an Apple, right? Apple. But why it is a byte? There's a byte. Do you know why? Do you know why the Apple has a byte? It is said, long history, Mr. Turing committed suicide by biting an poisonous apple. That's why he died. So that's why, in order to honor him, Apple computer used the apple with a byte. That is because of Mr. Turing. Okay. He's the father of computer science. Boy, he has also homepage here. Okay. Why is so he famous? Oh boy, he is so famous because of his thesis. What is Turing? Well, with his advice, of course. It's supposed to be called Church Turing thesis, but for brevity, people just drop the name of church, so it becomes Turing thesis. How important is Turing thesis? Without Turing thesis, there's no computer science. We don't have today. Without computer science, there's no AI. That's so important. And what is Turing thesis or Church Turing thesis? It has only one sentence. By the way, when we are studying at a university as a master's degree, bachelor degree, PhD, even master's degree, even bachelor degree, we need to write a thesis, right? People normally worry about, oh, how long should that be? 10 pages is too short. My advisor will frank me. 20 pages is not enough. Maybe at least 30, 40 pages, blah, blah, blah. That's what generally people worry about. But you don't know how long Turing thesis is? 10 pages? 20 pages? No. Heck no. One sentence. That's Turing thesis. Many people didn't realize that. Turing thesis, every effectively computable function is Turing computable. That's it, period. Boy, that's how great, that's why it is so great. As long as you understand what is Turing computer, the definition, the function, blah, blah, you will see, oh, it is certainly true. Every effectively computable function must be Turing computable. That's Turing thesis, okay? All right, I already said that, okay? There's also a homepage, you can easily find it. Okay. Why should I spend a few seconds on Mr. Turing more? Because everybody has your academic tree, don't you? Yeah, everybody is natural by nature. You have your family tree. Everybody has a father and mother. In turn, your father has his father and mother. Your mother has his father and mother, called grandparents. And your grandparents has his or her grandparents, and so on. In the Bible, everybody can be traced to Adam and Eve. That's the great, great, great ancestor of all human beings. Under Adam and Eve, there's an academic tree. Of course, it's huge. Likewise, academically, we also have our academic tree. I have my advisor has his advisor, and so on. So it's a tree. Well, look at this tree. I happened, when I was visiting the London and the tomb of Turing, this reminds me of, my advisor once told me that his advisor, look at here. This is me. My advisor is Mr. Kurt Cook at Oregon, and his advisor is Steve Hedernimi, and his advisor is Professor Frank Harary, and his advisor is Alfred Foster, and Foster's advisor is Alan Church, in which he has a very great first descendant, advisee, Alan Turing. That's a relation. So it's an honor. When I know this, I feel very encouraged. Oh, so I should work very hard. I should consider this as an honor. And with this honor, I'm encouraged. I'm strongly encouraged to do something more, to study hard, to work harder, okay? And by the way, it can be also traced back to H.A. Newton around 1830. And so this is a very brief academic tree. Here's I am, here's Mr. Turing, and here's Mr. Church. And remember, at the beginning, Mr. Church and Turing co-authored a paper called Church Turing thesis. But for the many years evolution, people gradually just called that Turing thesis. And that's the foundation of CS, computer science, also the foundation of artificial intelligence. And who else has ever won the Turing Award? There's a Mr. Andrew Yao Qizhi from Beijing now. He's in Beijing University now. He's very few Chinese people who ever won this. Chong University. This is Mr. Yao Qizhi. This is when he visited MIT, gave a talk. I attend MIT. One of the advantages of my current residence is that it's about 30 minutes drive from my home to MIT. So I have the privilege, almost I can as possible as I can to attend every meaningful talk at MIT. Of course, for the past year, I do not have to physically showing there. I just sit in my home and turn on Zoom. Okay, but by then it's
MIT 1 year ago. MIT and Harvard.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah, and then Boston University to attend a course for like a week time.
So it's Harvard in the Northeastern, right? Oh, how is Hong Kong?
Hong Kong is now getting colder, but you can see that I only wear long sleeves. That's it. So I don't wear coat at all. But then
one of the audience today
starting from tomorrow that we'll be getting cold.
I heard London has a very serious. Is London very serious now in the COVID virus? COVID, is that true? London. I just heard that yesterday. Okay. Anyway, it's safe now. We can sit at home. Good. Thanks to Mr. Yuan Zhen. Yeah, I forgot to add to this. Mr. Yuan Zhen, the inventor of Zoom. Okay, there's another professor at UC Berkeley, Yao, who has a very famous theory about his AI talk. He has a so-called modern crypto and fintechs and quantum computing. See, there's a very brief definition. What is quantum computing? CS plus physics combined together. And what is in the future? What does Mr. Professor Andrew Yao says in the future? He says future will be quantum computation plus neuron plus AI. All right, okay? Whether it's true or not, the development will eventually prove it. Oh, another professor I cannot miss, Professor Lofty Zada. Oh boy, he's unfortunately he also passed away. Those great guy. So we should work harder. We should continue their wish, have a further development of computers and AI for the better life of all human beings. Remember, the eventual goal for the better lives of all human beings. Yeah, this is a picture of another Patrick Winston. Unfortunately, he passed away. This is Mr. Zhu at MIT. Oh, this is another one I should mention. This is Li Kai-fu, also from Beijing, also taught at MIT. This is the ever first lady director of CES at MIT, CSAIL. And she invited him to give a talk at MIT, who was interested in venture capitalists. See, oh boy, that's the commercial domain. How come this has anything to do with AI? Oh boy, yes, it certainly has a close relation with AI. It cannot be separated today now. Of course, military application. Almost every country using AI for their military power. Most notably, past Soviet Union, now called Russia, USA, and China. I think those three big powers. No doubt about it. It began with 1990s. Persian Gulf was Persian War. Also chess. Boy, in 1997, there's an automatic chessboard called Deep Blue. And also there's a course Weiqi surrounding Weiqi semantic. Okay, let me take a few more seconds. Weiqi in Japanese is called Go. Boy, if you ask Japanese people, how do you write Go? Well, in English spelling it's Go, but when you write down in character, it's this. It's exactly the same as Chinese. What does Weiqi mean? There's a semantics. Go doesn't show anything. But Wei means surrounding, Qi means chess. Oh, you have to surround your opponent. Each they occupy more territory. At the beginning, everyone has 0. At the end, whoever occupies larger area wins. That's called Weiqi. You have a meaning. See, meaning is very important. When we say a word, you must mean, what does that mean? What you see is the syntax. B-O-O-K, good. What does B-O-O-K mean? Oh, it means this. What does C-O-M-P-U-T-E-R is the syntax. What does computer mean? Oh, you see AI is the syntax. What does AI mean? Oh, that's more important. So in other words, syntax is very important. And for a long time, people think, oh, chess is so complicated. No computer can beat human being. But now it's not true. There's a system that can easily beat human being now. So in other words, AI is almost unlimited. It grows. You can see you use deep learning, the so-called deep learning. Of course, also sometimes you have to use big data in that case. Deep mind. See, everything is involved. Okay, why? Of course, we already mentioned that gradually. Why use AI? AI is a very good tool, at least. The robotics and X-rays can help people. It's supposed to be a tool to help people. But eventually, what about this? They can help medical doctors. They can help this, help that. But eventually, will AI replace people? Oh boy, many companies already want, many employees worry about, oh, I'll be laid off because they can have AI, robotic to do this job, blah, blah, blah. So it's a very serious concern. We should be taking very serious planning for the future. So I mentioned deep learning. NLP stands for natural language processing, such as English, Chinese, German, and so forth, French. It's also concerned with deep learning, with syntax parsing. This is a typical sentence. Since this is so simple, let me spend a few seconds. Look, Alice, who had been reading about SyntaxNet, saw Bob in the halfway yesterday. Very simple sentence. The first grade elementary school students understand that. But it has more than one meaning. It is ambiguous. It's very important. So we should be careful. In daily life, we have many jokes talking about ambiguous. I'm sure you already know that. So let me just skip this. This is just one of the many examples. It's called ambiguity. What does ambiguity mean? The same syntax with multiple semantics meanings. That's called ambiguity. Very simple. There's at the word level, sentence, grammatical level, sentence level, and even the whole article level. For example, I saw a man here with a telescope. What does that mean? Oh, let's think about it a few seconds. What does this mean? Sentence mean? Well, it could mean, first, I saw a man on the hill. The man is on the hill. How can I see it? How did I see it? I see him with a telescope. That's one possibility. Secondly, it can also mean I saw the following: a man on the hill with a telescope. They are entirely different meanings, but with the exact same sentence. So that's very serious. If you misunderstand the sentence, you may have disaster results. Another example, seeing doctor always takes too long time. Must be patient. Oh, have you ever seen this joke? Oh, you must be patient. Come on, you must be patient. What does that mean? Well, he says, no wonder they call a person who is sick a patient. A patient must be patient. Otherwise, you'll be dead. Okay, so be careful about this. In Chinese, of course, there are tons of examples. 下雨天留客天留我不留. In the rainy days, a visitor is at home. Do you want to keep your visitors or you don't? In the same sentence, would it mean both? It's disastrous. It could mean both. You want to keep doctors, visitors, or you want to get rid of your visitors. It's the same sentence. So when you say in the future, when you talk to people, you must be a little bit more careful whether your communication, what you really mean is not what you really said. Oh, this is a harder one. Oh boy, we don't have time to cover all this. But I think everyone has some kind of experience in daily life, of course. How bad is ambiguity, or could be as bad? Boy, see, this is a more detailed analysis. Boy, look at this. How many possibilities? This sentence has 4,862 possibilities. So, in other words, in general, it has the formula is here. There are several major AI approaches, such as logic and rule-based, perturbable, and machine pattern-based approach, and also machine learning is a pattern-based. I'm not going to expand a little more about what we mean by pattern. Pattern, the concept of pattern is very, very important. This is the foundation of pattern recognition, which is the important part of AI for image processing, understanding, and computer vision. Also for machine learning. Okay. There's something more related to machine learning. The main points are first, of course, is learning. Secondly, is pattern detection. You must be able to detect what's the pattern of this, and then you need data. Nowadays, normally it's big data. Otherwise, you cannot solve the problem. Some more examples like OCR, optical character recognition, robotics. Oh, speech recognizer. Nowadays, you can talk to you can talk to some robotics. You don't even realize your other party is a machine. You thought the other party is another human being like you, because it has excellent speech recognizer. Machine-aided assistant. ATM machine, also check recognition. When I was in MIT, I also, not many people know, I'm not only associated with MIT C-Cell, Computer Science Lab, but I'm also associated with MIT very, very famous Sloan School, business school, the first rate of whole world. About 10 to 50 years ago, they called me, Professor Wang, can you help us? I said, what can I help you? We are trying to find a mechanism to automatically recognize checks. Oh, I said, okay, that's a good idea. So we work for many years later. Finally, when you go to a bank, you have the ATM, automatic teller machine. You can check, you can deposit your checks automatically. You can also cash out money with this bank. You don't have some people sitting behind you. Just totally machine automated. So it's called ATM. And that is because we have the automatic recognition of checks now. Okay. Remember, that also is originated from MIT. I'm very pleased to say I'm part of this effort. Also, fingerprints. Nowadays, you don't have to use your password to enter your cellular phone. You just pop, slightly touch it, or it recognizes you. Why? Because everybody has unique patterns of fingerprints. That's very interesting. That can be used in a lot of places. You enter your house, enter your car, you can replace keys. Boy, it's very convenient. It's cheap and compact and very convenient. Very fast also. Nowadays, internet world also use that. And using this technology, they solve a very famous, horrendous, terrible case of this 911. Everyone knows that. I think it's 1999 or 2000. Two skyscrapers were bombed by airplanes. This is the key suspect from state of Florida. They solved this case because using the fingerprints. Yeah, okay. You see a lot of things. I think in Hong Kong, Hong Kong is one of the earliest places which replaced the ID card, not only using the photograph, but also with a tiny chip or fingerprint. I believe Hong Kong is one of the first places in implementing this. Okay.
Yeah, but I myself is not aware of this.
Okay. Yeah, a lot of places, in short, okay. Yeah, also the problem, very interesting problem. Are fingerprints indeed unique? Well, there are two different answers. Some people still don't believe that. But very seriously, there are many, many studies, experiment, and doing this, doing that. And in short, it's very, very likely to have two identical fingerprints in 10 to the 4. Yeah, the answer is no, it's not unique. But in order to find another identical one, it needs 10 to the 48 hours of years. In short, it's almost impossible. Okay? Yeah. Okay. Now, signature. Oh, why? Boy. Signature is also unique. In the past, people think that signature may not be able to handle by computers, but no, it's not true. It is handled by. You can sign your several times, 10 to 11 times on a piece of paper through the scanning pen, the scanner, the touch-sensitive tablet. And then the computer can learn, get its pattern, and find its pattern, save in some corner of the memory. And that's you. Nobody else have the same signature. Again, is that unique? Well, people, it's a little controversial, but most people begin to believe it is indeed unique. This is a famous example when I visit famous city of Warsaw. Where is Warsaw is which country? Warsaw. Poland. They show me this. Do you know whose signature it is? Whose signature? A very famous composer. A very famous composer. Chopin. Well, if it is in the classroom, I will wait until students to answer. But today I don't have this luxury. Chopin. They gave me. They say, hey, can you also verify find its pattern and how significant and different from other, such as Mozart and Beethoven? They also have their signatures, the handwriting. Can you distinguish them? Yes, it's an interesting project. So that's why they showed me this. Okay. Yeah, in short, okay, very briefly, everything we contact at first, at the surface, is so-called syntax. What does that mean? It's the basic structures. In addition to that, we need to know what does that mean. Then we come to a deeper level. It's called semantics. But based upon what we understand, we should do something. That's called implementation. It's a pragmatics. You see? So the whole thing is important. You cannot ignore syntax. You cannot ignore semantics. You cannot ignore pragmatics. But in order to do a good job, you have to understand what it really means. In order to understand what it really precisely means, you have to study clearly what the syntax is. Okay. In short, the relation is this. Another very real example in computer science, say programming language. Everybody knows what does A equals B plus C star D. Everybody knows understand this. But in depth, this is what it means. Oh, it's load B, load C, multiplied by D, because this has higher level than this, and then add B, and then store A. That's semantics. And finally, the machine language, full of codes. That's the semantics. So the computers are doing the same thing already, long time ago. From first, very high level, natural language, to middle level, compilers, to finally machine language, semantics. With some real data. If you put what A, B, C, D's are, then you got some real number. That's the implementation, final results. So in short, we have input through this mechanism. We should get some output, some ideal output. AI is the same thing. From any input, we want to get some ideal the output. That's what we really want, to provide best service for human beings. Remember, our hero is still us, human beings. We want to satisfy us. See, this is a cat. It's very close to a tiger, by the way. If you misunderstand the tiger, are you a cat? You are so friendly. You touch him, you will be eaten by a tiger. Please be careful. Okay. So this is through our mechanism by human beings, 2 eyes. This is a cat. This is ImageNet. This actually is a system already. Oh, this is developed by Stanford University, ImageNet. So this is a typical example, a small part of a big data. Okay. So big data, image analysis, and pattern recognition. So let me talk about a little about pattern recognition. Okay, big data, everyone knows that. You just use enough data to make sure your analysis is good enough, and make sure it's nothing ambiguous. Exactly what you want. Yeah, IBM is very good at this, big data. IBM has a good lot of such systems, of course. Now, around 2012, the whole universe has about 2.8 zettabytes. How about the development? At 2020, it's 50 times more. In terms of different countries, well, at 2012, United States is dominant, of course, has 32%. Other universities has smaller. But by the year today, look at this. United States is only 23. And what other country is approaching? China, 21. Now you know why Mr. Trump is so nervous. You understand why the behavior of Trump is almost crazy. Because he thinks, oh boy, I should be dominant number one. I'm the big head. How come there's a second one approaching to me? Boy. See, that's why he's so nervous, okay? Okay, another point of view. Oh, people are talking about what's the difference between, let me see. Well, intelligence is a very interesting word. It has a lot of meanings. Now we're talking about artificial intelligence. In countries like China, people say, hey, how do we translate this word? Some people say it's 智能, some people say 智慧. But there's still difference. This is actually wisdom, 智慧. That's the ultimate goal. We are actually here, AI. Because AI doesn't touch morality yet. We only talk about the power, the capability. You can do this, you can do that. As for, is doing this right? Is that good for human being? AI doesn't talk about that. So in terms of, for example, bomb, we have a regular bomb, we have atomic bomb, and then hydrogen bomb, neutron bomb. Boy, the explosive power is higher and higher. It can kill more and more people. That's what AI is talking about. But whether we should use it and when should we use it, that's a different story. That touches wisdom. In other words, wisdom is even higher. It's not only the terms of the capability, the power, but also talk about morality, the righteousness, whether whether we should use it or not, or when and where and how. So that's another story. Just keep that in mind. That's a very, very deep thought. We don't have there's any not much discussion yet, but we will be. We should be. Okay. So in terms of data, of course, basically it's a gigabyte, terabyte, petabyte, exabyte, blah blah blah. It's a lot of terminology. We just keep in mind. This is another example of neural network. Okay, in terms of privacy, yeah, this is a lady. We can talk about her fingerprints and also face. Face recognition, sometimes it could be, with makeup, it can easily be deceived. But there's no way you can make I think it's more difficult to make a fake fingerprint, okay? There's another subdiscipline called infrared image. People daily use the so-called optical devices. We use the regular light. It can take the out face. Say you take a photo, you can see your face. It's out from the surface. But to characterize a person, you have a lot of more information hidden inside the body, which cannot be taken by regular means, by our regular optical means, such as the camera. But infrared image can. See, this is inside structure of a gentleman and a lady. That's the muscle and bones and so forth. In order to really recognize, is this really you? We sometimes have to go into this level, not only the surface. So we have to use the infrared image. Okay. So this is also for the medical purpose. So this is for breast cancer, infrared image. This is, I think this is a lady, this is a gentleman. So it can have some early warning system using infrared image, such as medical and also biometrics. I'm going to talk about this biometrics also. Biometrics is a big subcategory of pattern recognition. When you are talking about recognition in terms of human related to human bodies, especially for detective, for some murder cases, for example, then it's called biometric. It's become so huge now, it's almost independent of APR. Just like PR is part of AI in the first, now it grows independently as a separate item. Also for decision making, okay? This is a typical example of biometrics. This is a human head, of course, people can see that. But it cannot be taken by, this information cannot be retrieved by regular optical means, only through infrared image. Okay. Also temperature, it has some, I think we detect COVID, right? People with a gun, that may have something using the infrared image technology to just 1 second, to say, oh, you are positive, you are negative, you are positive, negative. This, I believe they are already using infrared image technology. Also, blood flow. Yes, this is example of blood flow. Are you drunk? Are you drunk? When you are driving in a car, people wondering, maybe you are drunk. So take a look. See, this this is more accurate than current technology to make sure indeed you are drunk or not. Okay, so it's also biomedical. There's a famous name called Bobby Johnson, just last year. He developed a special machine learning, ML technology. But it's only good data if, of course, there's some limitation, restriction. Only if your data is indeed good and valuable. How the leading AI researchers and scientists were trying to reverse that drift. So there's a huge amount of $100 million startup a company called by Professor Kohler. He says the cost of bringing a new drug to market has risen from 200 million 30 years ago to 2.5 billion today. Okay, so that's the, just have some idea that's good enough. Yeah, he also says something more like this. Now, the planned architecture for Combi AI. There's a new company called Combi AI at Boston. They use AI to help medical diagnosis. That's also a very huge subdiscipline of medication. Okay, for different angle, it's related. If you see this lady, this angle, and 45 degrees or 90 degrees apart, the face capturing, you capture this right part, this almost the left part, you can combine them so that even with the head, with the hair color, the hair plays a less important role. So you can use this as a bald face, bald head. You can still recognize it's the same lady. And overall, okay, we mentioned about two disciplines, major differences, AI and PR. A very brief history is that at the beginning, this is PR. This is pattern recognition. What do we mean by pattern recognition? First, you detect the patterns, some human being, and then through learning with good representation, and then you decide to see. This is the pattern recognition has two parts. First is learning. Only after learning you can talk about recognition. So they are very closely related. You do the image process, receive this data. You do the articulate it. It's another line drawing or line drawing. Find some good representation, and compile is the data into a library. Is with different categories of patterns, and finally you receive through repetitive, iterative learning, you finally compile a good dictionary. Once this is done, you can say, I'm ready to recognize things. So somebody sees some input through exactly the same process, then you can make a final decision. Oh, this is a cat. This is a tiger. Because they have some different patterns, okay? This is a human, this is a man, this is a lady, because they have different patterns, and so forth. This is Mr. A, this is Mr. B, because they have different patterns. So this is an overall picture of pattern recognition through, see, the keyword of learning. Now, this is another example. Let me see. Okay. I want to show you the relation between the two. That is more important. Oh, this is a neuron, really neural network, cellular cells, the medical application. Yeah, detect this cell, whether it is that cancerous or not. This is a typical good example of ambiguity. Read this carefully. Please ever read it carefully from left to right. Now let me do it. A father wants his child to take out the garbage. But the child is very smart. He said, you are closer. Look at here. Indeed, he's closer, right? But look at here. The father says, actually, I believe you are closer. He used the rule to convince his child. And then, you can guess who took out the garbage? Of course, the child. But he was confused. He was very frustrated. He was not happy. So he came to his mother. He said, do you measure garbage from feet or noses? What did his father do? His father measured garbage from noses. That's why he's closer. Look, I'm so tall. I'm so far away. Oh, you're so close. So I'm far away. You're closer. So you should go take out the garbage. In other words, depending on from which base, depending on the definition of measurement, oh boy, that's quite different result. So in other words, this could be real in a life, by the way. That's another example of ambiguity. Also, it touches syntax, semantics, and pragmatics, different results in implementation. Okay. Measuring different distance. Okay, yeah. See, it is from different criteria, right? Okay, of course, it can also apply to vision and image, of course. This is I first introduced to the academic world the relation between learning, recognition, and knowledge repetition. If you have a poor repetition, it also hurts. So you must have a good repetition, solid. At the beginning, you learn, then you will know. After you know, you can recognize. But it's not one way. The more you can recognize, the more you are capable of knowing. The more of knowledge you have, the more capable of learning. And it's ended cycle. So what is the famous saying? No, learning is endless. In Chinese it says, 学习是没有止境的. You can never say, oh, I finished learning. I got my degree. I got my bachelor, master, PhD degree. Oh, I have learned everything. I can stop learning now. It's not true. Even you got your PhD degree, you are just beginning to learn. In other words, this learning is endless, in short. Okay. I'll brief mention about wisdom, artificial intelligence, and logic, semantic network, knowledge implementation. Yeah, it also. Oh, by the way, let me take a few seconds. Chinese character is very unique. Unlike English, alphabetic, A, B, C, D, up to Z. There's no meaning, purely syntax. But in Chinese words, no, it's more than syntax. It has meaning, okay? That's the difference, in short. It takes 2 semesters course to talk about it. I can only spend a few seconds. Sorry about that. You have further interest, please take a course in the computer science, in the AI, natural language processing, or you can go to any Chinese department. They can tell you more, okay? This is an example of Chinese words. Let me show you. There are 3 words: electrical, ice, box. Altogether, it's electrical ice box, which means refrigerator. But if you ask any American people, refrigerator, what is it? This is a refrigerator. What does that mean? There's a larger gap between syntax and semantics, but it's a very close relation between what you really see, these three words, and what it really does mean. For example, another word, this is a small tree, this is a root, this is a branch, okay? At the beginning, very beginning, gradually it becomes this word, a single tree. If you have small group of trees together, it's called woods. If you have even larger and taller trees together, it's called forest. In English, it's three separate words, tree, woods, forest. From its syntax, you cannot see any difference. You cannot see any relation between them. Although they do have very close relationship, don't they? But in Chinese, they are shown, okay? Also, this is small, this is large. We have a contrast. Look at a knife. What do you mean by knife? Oh, one side is very small. The other side is completely large. It's called sharp. When you see the word sharp, there must be some meaning. What do you mean by sharp? Well, sharp is S-H-A-R-P, that's it. But what does it mean? It doesn't show in English, but it does show in Chinese. It's a contrast between small and large. That's called sharp. So be careful when you use the knives. And this is moon. This is sun, sorry, with the clouds. And this is moon. And in the daytime, why so light, bright? Oh, because sun. But in the evening, after dark, how come it's still so bright? Oh, because of moon. So in other words, the two objects, sun and moon, are the symbol of brightness. That's about 5,000 years ago, Chinese people thought that way. And look at English. I don't see the bright. Yes, right. What? I learn English. Oh, B-R-I-G-H-T. I memorize very, very clearly. Bright. But what does it mean? I cannot tell anything from this B-R-I-G-H-T. Can you? I cannot. But I can see from Chinese. Oh, it's bright. It's daylight is sun. In the evening is moon. Together, it's bright. That's the difference, all right? That's only just very, very few of thousands of examples. Also, there's another, when you have a, okay, exchange. This means exchange, E in Chinese culture. What do you mean by exchange? E-X-C-H-A-N-G, alternative. Just E-X-C-H-A-N-G, I don't know what it means. You just memorize it. But in Chinese, it's between the sun and the moon together, okay? So in other words, there's a meaning, in short, that this is a human being, this is human, see a head, this is walk, simplified image, this is human. So H-U-M-A-N doesn't mean anything, but this figure do mean something. Okay, when somebody is confined in a certain area, it's called prisoner. What do you mean by prisoner? Oh, it's just P-R-I-S-O-N-E-R. What does it mean? Oh, I don't know. But look at Chinese. That means prisoner. Okay? All right, in short, that's the difference between two major national languages, Chinese and English. In general, Western language, French, German, Polish, Russian, and so forth, are basically alphabetic, right? So that's Egypt language. I have learned that also it's an image, but it's not so strong as Chinese, by the way. Because Chinese has so-called 6 books. All right. Okay. In short, that takes one semester course. Sorry about that. Look at this point. This is a famous point talking about mountain, top of mountain, and look at this word. Look at the yellow colored. That means mountain. It's talking about the same mountain, looking at a different angle, look at different feeling. This is a very famous point in the Song Dynasty. And look at this word, full of mountain, the view, okay? This is what the mountain means. Look at this part. Look at the part. It's one stroke. That's the word mountain. Word mountain is here, okay? But M-O-U-N-T-I-N, no, doesn't mean anything. Oh, also concave and concave and convex, okay? Oh, they're, in short, it takes one semester course. Sorry, I have only about a few minutes. So in short, I already talked about this. Oh, the word learning is also very interesting. The key, I said the key point, the key idea of AI is learn, right? What does learn mean? Oh, there's EAR. You can earn something. Yeah, good. But in Chinese, it's even more. Okay, very old days. This is the father with hand with a stick. See, father hand with a stick, just like like your master. All right, that's like teacher in the old days. With a father with two hands. This is a cloud. This is disciple. This students. At beginning, very beginning, gradually continuous transformation become this, and finally, this is word of learning. It has its meanings. All right, they are discipline. This father. This is cloud. The father helps you to uncover the cloud upon your head. It's called learning. Your worry, your questions, and so forth is learning. Okay. Okay. Yeah, like this. In the olden days, the first chapter of the Bible, how many of you are familiar with? Even if you are not Christians, at least you know the Bible, right? The first chapter, the first sentence of the Bible is, at the beginning, God created the world. Look, God created the world. This is a famous painting by Michelangelo. Many years later, people find out, oh, it's not just coincident. This is our brain. Let me see. See, people realize people at the beginning thought, oh, they're just artificial, just art. It's kind of art. No, it's more than that. Look, this is the giving hand. This is the receiving hand. This is the master. This is the disciple. In other words, it's teaching and learning. Teach and learn. Look at here. Oh boy, in the stamps, in the magazine cover page, in some famous movie, these ideas are already applied to many places. And look at again, this picture. Look, isn't that just? Look, isn't that just human brain? In other words, Michelangelo is why so great? It's not only just technical painting, but he has his thought. He has brain. He has brain. This is human brain, symbolizing the ever first great creator. So in other words, syntax, semantics, and pragmatics. It is already there, long time ago in human history. All right. There's also called, see, this is, let me show again. Doesn't this look like this? Human brain. Now, there's also so-called reverse engineering. It is just reverse. You already know the result. You want to see what's the original input. So therefore, the quantum computer comes out. I think China has a very good, rapid development of quantum. I think it's leading, I believe. China is leading now in this quantum computation. It is the study of human brain. Just try to see what does this part do? This part, and then can we use a computer to simulate it? This is another word, very important word. Right, in addition to learn, which is very important, of course. There's another word which is very important. What is that? Love. Dad, do you love me? Mother, do you love me? What does love mean? No, I don't know. Love is love. Why? Love, just love. Why do you ask this question? Stupid question. No, it's not stupid. Look at Chinese. The very original word is this. A giving hand, receiving hand. This is the media. The most important. Oh, I know you give me so many precious, very expensive gift. But the most important of all, I know that it is your heart. You give me your heart. When you talk about love, what is the most important of all? Not the extent, not the $1 million house, not the $1 trillion car. No. Not the $1 billion jewel. No, it's your heart is most important, isn't it? And it is, I believe it is. And that's the original idea. Gradually, through continuous transformation. Continuous transformation means that you change a little bit, day by day, year by year. Then gradually, when you mature, in a mature stage, it is. This is the word of love. Unfortunately, when I meet people from mainland China, they say, boy, love is hard. I never know that. Because those gentlemen cancel the heart in a simplified word. They believe, oh, wow, it's a pity. It's a pity. Okay, you should keep that one. Because that's the foundation of this word, L-O-V-E. Oh, electricity, boy. E-L-E-C-T-R-I-C-T-Y. Yes, I memorized that clearly. That's electricity. But what does that mean? Oh, I don't know. I don't care. I just memorize it. But in Chinese culture, they do care. Look at here. Originally, very, very originally. Very, very originally. This is sky. This is cloud. This is rain. Raindrops. Raindrops falling on my head. Remember? Raindrops falling on my head. Can you sing that song? Okay. This is the rain, in short. This is electricity. Why? Because this left hand, right hand holding a long stick. A very long stick. Why long stick? Because thundering. Do you remember thundering? Sky, clouds, raindrops, thundering. Cloud, raindrops, thundering, lightning. That is the very foundation through continuous transformation. Eventual word is this. Raindrop, thundering. That's how electricity comes from. Okay? In 5 or 6,000 years, people already realized that. Until Mr. Edison finally realized how to actually get it and put it into some light bulb. So that's why we have the light we can see in the evening. So gradually, this is in other words, this word not only has syntax, but also has meanings. Unlike E-L-E-C-T-R-I-C-T-Y. Yes, that's electricity. But this is also electricity. Okay. Let me see. Yeah, look at it. Thundering, lightning, love. Oh, yeah. Oh, yes. Okay. When I was invited to Shanghai by Charlton, do you know Charlton University? You should know because that's the Chinese MIT. Equivalent to China's MIT is Charlton University. One of the best, there are 5 campuses. Shanghai, Beijing, Chengdu, Xi'an, and Taiwan. One of the best one, oldest one is Shanghai. When I was visiting there to give a talk, I see this picture at their airport or high-speed train station. I was pleasantly surprised. I was very, very pleasantly surprised because there's a slogan. He says, word can be simplified. Should be, I agree. But love cannot be without what? Heart. So this is a simplified word with black cold face. This is light color is the original face. And it's everywhere. It's not only once. It got a prize of the public show. I think there's a competition. This got the first prize. They think this is very important. So it's everywhere. The original word has heart, whereas the simplified word just get rid of this heart. In other words, those people who in a committee of a simplified word committee doesn't know this word has a meaning, doesn't know the importance of heart. That's a pity. But I'm glad finally people realize the importance of heart. Word can be simplified, but love cannot be without heart. See, this love has no heart. This is simplified a lot. This is heart, okay? Oh, intimate. In other words, oh, you are so close. This boyfriend, girlfriend, they are so close. Mother and father so close. Parents and children are so close. What do you mean by close? Near. You must see each other frequently, either in the body or as we see in a Zoom. You should. That's why at the beginning I asked the host, Can I see the audience? Normally, in a real conference, I can see the whole. I can see hundreds. The big house, I have seen 200 audience. I can see them, but now I cannot. The host told me there are 120 people registered for this conference, but I can see only a few, like 5 or 6 of them. It's a pity. But in the real world, we can. That is the essence, foundation of being intimate. So that's why in Chinese word, Qing has a meeting face-to-face part, but unfortunately, simplified words cut it off. But luckily, they began to realize the importance. So they began, in the past few years, they began to try to resume it. That's what I believe. This is not in Taiwan. This is in Shanghai, China, which use this as intimate. But they realized, look at also the slogan. What is the slogan? Yes, relatives should see each other very frequently. No matter how busy you are, you should frequently see your relatives, especially your parents, brothers and sisters. That's what this word means. So in other words, see, in other words, this is so important. Okay, all right. So again, syntax semantic in natural language, in particular in Chinese. That's what I'm most familiar with. Okay, let me see. There's a special website called Hanji versus Kanji. Okay, yeah. Oh, haha, there's a very simple, very interesting question. The Chinese words has so many strokes. Which one is the most complicated Chinese words? Well, I already gave you the answer. If in a classroom, I will leave the students to think about it. Maybe it takes 5 minutes. Some students know the answer, but I don't have luxury here. I can only show. This is 56 strokes. 56 strokes. This word should be simplified, but it's not. It's a kind of noodle on the northwest part of China. Okay, this is one of the very early drum without human driver. Okay, see, it is everywhere now. I can show you. Let me see. The video doesn't work. That's very strange. Okay, anyway, it can drive himself to everywhere. It's multiple legged. Oh, sorry. Yeah, also robot here. I don't know why it doesn't work. Oh, it does work. Sorry. This is a typical. Everyone already knows that. See, it almost looks like a human being. Almost. If you give this decoration, like his head, his hands, his clothing, it's almost like a human being. It's very mature. I think it's already very mature. It's using AI techniques. It can use 2 eyes to recognize. Otherwise, it will fall down easily. It can recognize the surroundings, preventing collision and falling down. Okay. All right. All right. Let me, because of timing, let me see. Spies. Yeah, they are also, again, students. They are still students. While they are students at MIT, they already found a company called Spice, manufacturing robotics. Okay, their names are Luke, Brady, Michael, and Kale. Also in the kitchen, you cannot imagine. The cook are very aware about it. They will be laid off, I believe. They are worried, but don't worry about that. They can do something else. They can make it. Sorry about that. Something's wrong with the system. Oh, sorry. It works. See, it is an automated kitchen. You can save a lot of manpower, by the way. It can cook for you, but you still need people. You still need a human being. So don't worry about that. You won't be out of job. Okay. All right. Okay. Let's continue. Okay. Yeah. In terms of safety in a human in a city design, I once gave a talk at a human as a municipal city design conference. I talk about the road sign. Look at here. Those are important. Look, the road sign can also be ambiguous, which is very, very dangerous. Look at here, for example. Look at here. You are driving, you see, keep right. Okay, you see this, keep right. But look at here. Look, wow. Should you keep right or left? Oh, it takes you a few seconds to hesitate, then collision. Yeah, this is a bad example, by the way. Look at here. It's one way, good. But should I use this? Should I turn right or turn left? Which one is one way? And look at here. Keep right. It says keep right, but then there's this one. And also, there are famous examples at Boston City, especially. Number 2, number 3, number 16. But look at the angle. It's entirely different. So in other words, this is a serious problem we should be taken care of. Otherwise, it can avoid a lot of accidents, in short. Okay. And there are tons of examples. Oh, also this. When you say in case of emergency, you should turn this, but you didn't say clockwise or counterclockwise. You waste 1 second, then accident happens. You should be specifically spelled out this way. Oh, I have a paper. I indicate that you should also indicate this way or that way, because you cannot tolerate, people cannot tolerate, say, wait a minute, let me think about it for 1 minute. Do some testing. This way doesn't work. This way. Then the house already blew out. The fire cannot be controlled. So not only say to open this door manually, break cover, turn handle, but also please indicate clockwise or counterclockwise. That's very important. Otherwise, it's ambiguous. See, on the airplane, did you notice that? In case of emergency, you should turn off this handle, but very clearly clockwise. Otherwise, if you don't have this part, then people cannot say, hey, let me do this. Oh, that doesn't work. Do that. People already died. So this is a good example because it is unambiguous. I'm very glad to see this good example. So in other words, in our daily life, it matters. It matters greatly. Oh, yeah, another example. Oh, people say, hey, by default, it's clockwise. Just you don't have to use this arrow. By default, it is. No, it's not. Look, this is counterclockwise. So it should be explicitly spelled out because it is unambiguous. It can save life. Do you see a 64 years old lady? Oh, yes, of course. But look, if you turn upside down, no, it is a 26 years old young lady. Exactly the same syntax. Okay? Be careful. It could be that different. I used to have a continuous picture, but maybe it's gone. Sorry, okay. Anyway. Oh, yes, I do. Oh, look at here. The exact same picture, same syntax. This is lovely, beautiful young lady. But if you drink beer, oh, okay, on the other side, it's in reverse. If you drink beer too much, then you think, oh, this old lady, you can imagine, oh boy, no, it's not an old lady. It's a very pretty young lady because you have drank 6 beers, as if you turn the picture upside down. But look at here, it's the exact same syntax, okay? Also, if in the classroom I ask, what do you look? The student says, oh, Donald Duck, of course. Donald Duck, of course. No, not so, of course. Look. Who is this guy? This is a very famous guy now. Very, very famous. You know why it's so famous? I don't have to explain. But do you realize it's the same picture? It's the same picture. Look, the same syntax. Come on. See? I didn't change a bit. Come on. Something's... Okay, anyway, this is down up, but if you touch it, look, the same syntax, but different semantics. Okay, that's called what? Ambiguity, ambiguous. Oh, another rare, very example. Any audience from Korea, Republic of Korea, South or North? Any audience from Korea? Well, anyway, this is your famous leader, North Korea, by the way. This is Korean, reading Korean. This is original. By the way, some of them do know Chinese because 600 years ago, this is what they use. But what? Okay, look here. Oh, there's so many examples. Sorry. But the point is that the same Korean 3 words can also be interpreted as another person. This is the real leader, but this is a different meaning, different people. Let me see. Oh, is this teach or learn? Do you see the word teach or learn? You see both, because upper side is T-E-A-C-H, lower side is L-E-R, but they are image. They are mirror image, meaning they are identical. Mirror image means identical. T-E-A-C-H, L-E-A-R-N. It's entirely different, right? Are you a teacher? Yes. I mean, are you a student? Yes. Teacher teaches students, okay? Let me see. Let me try to see what these words. Okay. I'm pregnant. She said, oh, I'm pregnant. Who is she? I don't know. She pregnant. Who is she? I don't know her. Who you are? Please don't smoke. I'm pregnant. Please don't smoke. So be careful where you smoke. Okay, in short, ambiguity can cause a lot of problems. In short, okay? Even when it's very clear the meaning, I'm pregnant, it's very so clear. But on a different occasion, it could imply different things, okay? In different occasions, even the same syntax, same meaning can cause you a problem. Okay, be careful. I think this is another example. Let me look.
Playing jazz.
Playing jazz.
Smoothie.
Making smoothie.
Everything's automatic, autonomous.
Today, remember, dentist at 9:30.
Fire off.
Fire off.
Open door.
You see, so convenient.
Open.
Boy, AI world.
I'm gonna do one more.
Fire. Open door.
Wrong voice command.
Open door.
Wrong voice command.
Open door.
Repeat that.
Open door.
I didn't understand that.
Hey, open door.
Play on the floor.
Get on the floor. Open the door. Open the door.
Error.
Area with a rat. Open door.
Okay. Okay, be careful. Sometimes could be disastrous. All right. Let me see. Is this another one? Let me see. What it?
What's the buttons?
They installed voice recognition technology in this lift. They heard about this.
Voice recognition technology in a lift in Scotland. You ever tried voice recognition technology?
No.
They don't do Scottish accents.
11.
Could you please repeat that?
11.
You need to try an American accent.
11. 11. Sounds Irish. You're American.
Doesn't it?
You're in America, is that? Dublin.
I'm sorry. Could you please repeat that?
Try an English accent. 11. 11.
You're for the same part of England as Dick Van Dyke.
Please speak slowly and clearly.
If you don't understand the lingo, away back home to your own country.
Ooh. Is that talk now, is it?
Oh, don't start, Mr. Bleeding Heart. How can you be racist to a lift?
Please speak slowly and clearly.
11. 11.
You're just saying it the same way.
I'm going to keep saying it till I understand Scottish, alright? 11. 11.
I'll just say it's anywhere, you cow. Just open the doors.
This is a voice-activated elevator. Please state which floor you would like to go to in a clear and calm manner.
Calm. Where's that coming from? Why is it telling people to be calm?
Because they knew they'd be selling us to Scottish people who'd be going up for nuts at it.
You have not selected a floor.
Aye, we have. 11.
If you would like to get out of the elevator without selecting a floor, simply say, "Open the doors, please."
Please. Suck my wally.
Maybe we should just say please.
I'm not begging that for nothing.
Open the doors, please.
Please. Pathetic.
Please remain calm.
Oh, God! What do you want up tonight? Get him up now. Hey, just wait for it to speak.
You have not selected a floor.
Oh, use your cow!
Scotland, you bastard!
Scotland!
Scotland!
Freedom!
Okay. That just any audience from Scotland, from England, sorry about that. That's just a joke. Okay. Okay. Oh, okay. We are all. I think we all have good English, don't we? If you can read this, you must be really smart. Can you read it? Can't you? All right. So there are many typos, but with the context information, you can easily recognize, understand. Chances are you have seen this in your mail in your inbox, according to a research at Cambridge, blah blah blah. So in other words, we are in this kind of word. Okay, in Chinese also the same example. Okay, how about in the future? We believe with automatic recognition, of course, this is biopharma plus HPI plus AI, right, establishing an imaging and a big database through learning, of course, deep learning. And at least in Poland, there's a through this conference, you can see a lot of examples here. And there are many more. Yeah, this is an example. When I was in Poland, and when I was visiting the whole world, this is what happens. Okay, so these are I have about 26 books. This is just one tool of them, called Pattern Recognition, Machine Intelligence, and Biometrics, and also Pattern Recognition, Machine Intelligence, and Biometrics. And this is me. Oh, another person I should mention. This is the founder of pattern recognition, called Professor Kingston Fu. In order to honor him, there's a Kingston Fu Award, just like a Turing Award for computer science. Kingston Fu Award is for pattern recognition science. Okay. This is ever second time, I believe. This is when he visited the University of Oregon. Unfortunately, he also passed away. Too bad. This is a memorial at Chiao-Tung University, at Hsinchu, Taiwan's Chiao-Tung University. This is another book. Oh, last but not least, let me mention an international journal, which I founded 35 years ago. It's called Combining Together AI and Pattern Recognition, called International Conference Pattern Recognition and AI. In short, IIDS. And at the beginning, we have 2 editors, now have become to 3, increased to 3. These are board editors. You're welcome to submit your best paper to me. Okay, thank you very much.
So thank you very much for your great talk. And then for the rest of the audience, do you have any? I think there is a question from Roy Jean. So Roy Jean, will you ask by yourself, or you just let Professor Wang read from your chat box? So actually, Roy Jean's question was like, could PR and learning recognize some work from with different semantics? For example, like bachelor, I have a very good friend who got his bachelor degree and then become a bachelor. That was in the chat box as well. The one
Say
from
again, which chat box?
What's the one from the chat box. It said that it's like, could PR and learning recognize the same work with different semantics? Yeah. For example, for bachelor, I had a very good friend who got his bachelor degree and then become a bachelor.
I have a very good brain for bachelor degree and then get a bachelor degree.
And then become a bachelor.
Oh. So what does this person, what does he ask? What's the question, by the way?
What's the question, by the way? Roy Jimmy, are you? It is the one who...
Just an opinion or a question. Is that just a suggestion or opinion or just a question?
I think it should be the question. Because it said they could PR and learning recognize the same work with different semantics.
That's ambiguity. That's called ambiguity.
Yeah.
The same syntax with different semantics is ambiguity. It's the most interesting and most difficult part, yes. For example, the road sign. For example, in the elevator, the 2 gentlemen wants to take the 11th floor. Because of the accent, the computer cannot understand them, and so forth. Because that's ambiguity, all right?
Yeah.
So, but that cannot be avoided. We live in a world full of ambiguity.
You're right. Well, I've got 3 questions. Actually, this is also the questions for which we have got something in our mind. Like, for example, what kind of the thing for which you think it would be like the future research direction? If we just talk about like intelligent pattern recognition, image processing, and applications, so what may be the future research direction?
Oh, there are many of them. Medical application, for example, city design, financial, business management, and even for the military applications. Many, too many. The application is almost unlimited. Even our daily life, for the kitchen improvement, and for a lot of things. For teaching for the teaching classroom, for teachers to teach and for students to learn, and so forth. Too many things. Almost unlimited. Almost any field you can think of has AI applications. And of course, many of them use pattern recognition, image processing, and computer vision. In many cases, they cannot be separated apart.
Yeah. So what do you think that will be the latest development trends, prospects, and also challenges in both like artificial intelligence and also ubiquitous studies?
There are many immediate applications in the recent years. Medical application, for example, the vaccine analysis, the study of vaccine for the COVID.
Yeah.
They use the AI. I believe they are using, but of course there are many things still keep secret. But you can imagine the medical application is a very big main branch of application. They can save a lot of work by the doctors, researchers, and nurses, and also the medical hospitals. They even want to use the robot to serve for the patients and so forth. But that's still one step away, because nurse will be complaining. Nurses cannot be avoided. You still have to use some human power.
Yeah.
Also, the doctors, physicians, they only want to use AI as a helper, as an assistant. They
Yeah.
do not want to be replaced, for sure.
Oh, yeah, right. Sure.
So,
So what may be the challenges that it is so the people do not want to be replaced then I would say. Yeah. And then it just far from everything from like some far from like as what you said because they don't want to be like replaced. So that can be a kind of challenges in the AI applications or going further.
that's right.
Yeah. Another question is like what may be the various AI and ubiquitous tools that can be used in research projects?
Oh, there are some new, yes, in terms of, let me see. Yes, they are, let me see. There's so many new development. Let me see whether I can just mention some of them. There's a H2O company called H2O using the source of water. It's, I think it's in also greater Boston area. I actually know the founder. It's called H2O stands for water. This
Yeah.
company uses H2O. Yeah, they use computers.
Yeah.
Also MLIR APP. It's called MLIR APP. And also RPA, robotic process automation. These are some of the very, very new, still under develop in the process of being developed. They try to help every small aspect of human daily lives. Medical, yeah, even water, drinking. What kind of water for purifying, pure water without poison, like and so forth. It's under heavy study using AI techniques. Yes.
Okay. So it is highly likely for the AI for the YouTubers to say they probably what you said is like robot maybe. That is
Yes.
one thing for which like it can be a kind of the applications then.
Yes. Drone, for example, no airplane without pilot. Also cars without drivers.
Yeah.
And kitchen without a cook.
Yeah.
It's a partially solved, partially successful. Yes, only partially. How about classroom without teachers? Well, that's a very serious question.
Well, I love classroom without teachers now because all of us are having like online lecturing, so that we do not have any sort of like teachers in the classroom. Even if we have got teachers in the classroom, well, we have got hybrid classes. And then what I've known from many of the lecturers that I know is that, well, by the time it's hybrid, a lot of circumstances, students just hide in the black box. What you see now, that they do not show their faces. and then within the classroom there is no student. So it is like what you said. It's like classroom without students. Yes, with teacher. Yes, but without students. Hide behind those like black boxes. Yeah. So thank you. Anybody that you have got question here? I think Patrick's talk is like wonderful. And I have to give you hold on a second that I have to issue the evaluation form for Patrick, and I think everybody will try to feel very high marks for Patrick too. So for the rest of the audience, please let us know if you have got any of the questions that you would like to ask about like Patrick's talk. Gabriel, do you have question to ask?
No, I think I have answered the question from Ruoyu. He asked a question about the NLP, natural language processing.
Yeah. And then for the rest of the hold on a second, let me retrieve back the evaluation form.
In any event, my emails are under here. You're welcome to raise any questions anytime to either of these two emails, please.
Okay. Yeah. Please try to email. Please try to email Patrick by the time that you have got a question, etc. And then sorry, where is the form? Because some of the we will send you the certificate by the time that you have got the hold on a second. We'll send you the certificate after the lecture. So if you have got the question. If you have got the, so that we will send you the certificate if you have got registration on it. So in the meantime. So please give very, very high marks for Patrick's talk. Thank you very much. So Gabriel, do you have anything that you would like to talk about your tomorrow's conference as well as like 31st conference?
I thank you. I think it's okay. I think no problem. Tomorrow and the day after tomorrow, I think people will join. No problem. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. So very honored to have Professor Patrick Wang today, because this is like very, very exciting talk. And then we actually learned a lot. We learned a lot of pattern mechanism, the Chinese ambiguity, and then putting the Chinese word to those like presentation. Well, I think most of the speakers have not put in the Chinese words into the presentation, which is like very, very exciting. Because actually a lot of circumstances, sometimes by the time we talk about, like, we have invited a distinguished professor, and then by the time we give the talk, everybody is sleeping. I think everybody are very exciting today that the talk is very, very interesting.
Thank you, everyone.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank
you.
you. Have a nice day.
Have a nice day. Happy New Year.
Happy
New Year. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
We just finished the whole talk series of the 2020. So hope to see you again in other circumstances. And then if you have got, we will also continue to send you like the information about the call for paper, call for book chapter, call for everything, and then maybe other events in the future by the time you register. So
I want to
thank you,
congratulate
everybody.
Trita for your successful conference, and thank all the audience to be present. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Thank you, Patrick, because Patrick's time is like very, very early morning today.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Happy New Year.
Thank you. Happy New Year. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye. Everybody, bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.